What's up, math scholars? It's Friday, kinda, sorta. It's actually Thursday, but it's the last day of the week, so I'm equally excited. We are going to be going over the 1.1 to 1.3 study guide today. That quiz is not until next Wednesday, so please promise me you will not forget everything over the weekend, okay? So who's excited? It's Thursday! By far my most excited class ever. All right, number 1, part A. Can I get somebody to give me an idea on how we're going to get this into standard form? Right now it's intercept form. How do I know that? There's 2 sets of parentheses. So we're talking that the x-intercepts are -2 and 5. But what will I do for standard? Good, we're going to do FOIL. Be very careful. You only take that 3 to that first group. So the 3 will kind of distribute in to that x plus 2. So it becomes 3x plus 6. And then x minus 5 will stay unchanged for that first step. And then go ahead and try to FOIL it out the rest of the way by yourself. I'll pause the video and let you try that. All right, we did our foiling with our rainbows. Just keep in mind when you're foiling, you are multiplying. So we got 3x times x, got 3x squared. 3x and a -5 is a -15x. 6 times x is 6x. And a +6 with a -5 is a -30. Don't forget to add those 2 like terms together, and that'll be a -9x. All right, moving along to part B. What form is this in, just for fun practice? Vertex form. So just look at the formula board. It's here for your usage. If there's no parentheses, it's standard. So this has a set of parentheses, so it's not standard. If there's 1 set of parentheses, it's vertex. That's what we're dealing with here. This is vertex form. And then if there's 2 sets of parentheses, it's intercept form. So just for fun practice, what is the vertex of this part B problem? 1, 10. Okay? Everybody okay with 1, 10? Hello. All right, so let's go ahead and turn it into standard form. Your first step is to write that x minus 1 2 times. Real quick reminder that -4 is only going to go to that first group. So it'll be a -4x plus 4. Beware of the double negative. Negative times negative is positive. And then you still have that x minus 1 and you still have that plus 10. Same deal. I'm going to pause it and let you try to finish it all by yourself. All right, just to finish this one off, you can check your work. A -4x times x is a -4x squared. A -4x and a -1. Ooh, double negative again. That's going to be a +4x. 4x and x is a +4x. And +4 and -1 is a -4. All right, don't forget about your 10. Don't lose your puppy. Your 10's just hanging out there. We're going to have 2 like terms right here and 2 like terms right here. So when I add them up, my final solution is -4x squared, +8x, and +6. Any questions on that? All right, let's try 2 part A. What numbers will multiply to give us that -14? We also need those 2 numbers to add up to a -5. What did we go with? Here we go. -7, +2. Does that go pretty well? All right, part B, we're looking for 2 numbers to multiply to get a +16 that would add to get a -8. So beware, this one's going to have to be a double negative. The only way you can multiply to a positive and add to a negative is a double negative. We're going a -4 for both. And then part C, I was walking around and some of you did have it. I saw Cecilia for sure had it. This is the perfect square problem. So I just kind of thought to myself, what times what would be 9g squared? 3g times 3g would be 9g squared. And what times what would be 25? 5 times 5. That's very important. You make one 5 negative and one 5 positive so that those middles could add up to 0. And I know the middles are going to be slightly different. This times this would be a -15g. And this times this would be a +15g, but they would still add up to 0. Yes? So, just more the same, real similar to what you saw yesterday in our game. You're thinking of numbers that will multiply to 36, add up to -15. Did you come up with numbers that work, or is it prime? Yep. Perfect. So we're going with a negative 12 and a negative 3. What about number 4? Did anybody come up with our numbers that would multiply to 25, add up to 10? Yeah. Positive 5 and positive 5. So you can write like this. All right, 5, that's one of those special cases. We want numbers that will multiply to that negative 49, but add up to 0. Anybody figure this one out? Yep. Okay. And then our last one. We're multiplying to 12 and adding up to 8. So what numbers can do that? Anybody figure this one out? Yeah.
6 and 2.
Perfect, 6 and 2. All right, so let's pause. All right, we're looking at number 7. I have the students put it in their calculator. I'm hearing ideas from them. They're telling me it's upside down. That's because that negative out front. They told me it was like an average width. That's because that A value is just a negative 1. I guess my first question then is this standard form, is this vertex form, or is this intercept form? Because that will determine what equation that we're using. Standard form, because there's no parentheses. So I'm just going to look at my formula board under standard form. I got this nice little formula up here. X equals negative b over 2a. And I'm going to use that to get me my x part of my vertex and get me my axis of symmetry. So I really only need my a and my b value. I don't really need my c value. A is a negative 1 because it's that number in front of x squared. B is negative 4 because it's the number in front of the x. So I'm going to plop it in. It's negative b, which b is negative, so I'll flip to a positive, over 2 times a. So it looks like my top's going to turn to a positive, my bottom's going to become a negative 2, and that's going to be a negative 2. So my first half of my vertex is negative 2. That's also the axis of symmetry. Those numbers match. Do you guys remember how we will get our second half of our vertex? Plug it in, plug it in. You take that negative 2, you go back to the original equation, and everywhere you see an x, you put a negative 2 in. Now you have to be very careful with a negative. Anytime you square a negative, you're going to put parentheses around it. It's very important to have the parentheses like this, the squared on the outside. And that's been the case since you've used the TI-34s in middle school. So I'll give you a second to type that in. You'll go back to your home screen, so you quit out of Graph World. If you don't know how to quit out of Graph World, it is second mode button, second quit. And then you can get back to the home screen to do your calculating. All right, we typed that in and we got 6, so that completes the negative 2, 6. Just draw a real quick sketch. It does not need to be perfect, but make sure you've got your vertex up there at negative 2, 6. And then you have it upside down. You can have it cross, hopefully where it crosses on your thing. Can I borrow your calculator? I'm looking at a student's calculator just to get an idea on where this is crossing. Oh no, you cleared it out. Or did you not graph it yet? Oh, didn't graph it yet. Okay. So I'm just estimating from our picture where it's crossing. It looks like it's crossing just above 0. And then down there around 1, 2, 3, 4, around 5.5. There you go. Alrighty, we are at our next graphing problem. What form are we in? Standard, vertex, or intercept? I heard somebody whisper vertex. It's intercept form because there's 2 sets of parentheses. So I'll just drop that down here. And it's important to be able to identify what form you're in. Intercept form means you can find the 2 intercepts just by looking. Not the vertex. You can't find the vertex just by looking. You can find the intercepts just by looking. And what are those intercepts? 2 and negative 4. So since those parentheses are there, it's opposite of what you would probably think. All right, if I look at my formula board right up here, I'm pointing to it. There is your intercept form vertex formula. P plus Q over 2. So 2 plus negative 4 over 2. It's going to be a negative 2 on top, 2 on bottom. So I think that means my x value is a negative 1. How are we doing? Did I go too fast? I get excited. Everybody's okay? Very, very, very similar to the last one. Once you have that x coordinate of your vertex, you also have your axis of symmetry. And then you just need to do plug it in, plug it in. Plug that -1 in the original equation. So -1 minus 2, -1 plus 4. Give you a second to type that in. Video. All right, so while we were on pause, we finished that y coordinate. It was -27. We put it in the calculator. We saw that that vertex was out of our viewing screen. No huge deal. Just draw what you see on your calculator screen, and you're good. Any questions on that one? I think we do one more and call it a day. Okay, sound good? We got to save something to do next week. So this final one is in what form? Vertex form, the only form we haven't seen so far. It's vertex form because you have that one set of parentheses, and what that means is you can find the vertex just by glancing at it. What is that vertex? 2, 5. I agree. 2, 5. Vertex form's my favorite. It's so much less work than the other forms. So 2, 5 is your vertex. The axis of symmetry is 2. These numbers match each other. So go ahead and type it in the calculator, see what it looks like. It should open down because there's that negative out front. Okay, hello people on the video. We made an upside down parabola here. We had our vertex at 2, 5. I am going to end the video here to, give them some stuff to do Tuesday. So this will be a 2-part video of the study guide. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.